Welcome back, fight fans. We're back again after, what an incredible show that was. UFC 285. Unbelievable. Obviously, co-main event, main event stole the show. Obviously, I was seriously speechless after the entire thing. So we'll go through that, obviously. Uh, First, and then we'll take our break, and then we'll go through this week, which I'm not even sure what to call it. Is it UFC Vegas 71? Is it UFC Las Vegas? I have no idea. I'm going to go with UFC Las Vegas because it's not at the Apex, but I don't know what's going on. I haven't seen anything online yet about what we're calling this one. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. UFC Las Vegas. We'll just go with that. But yeah, we will open up with UFC 285, go through that whole thing, and then do that. So we'll open with the prelims, of course. And that opened up with Loic Rajabov beating Esteban Ribovic. And it was a close one. It was going into it anyway. It was a close one. Wasn't really sure who to pick at first because Ribovic undefeated, Rajabov not undefeated, but in the PFL has done really well in the past. I ended up going with Rajabov though, and made the right choice. Tough to say though. I mean, whenever you see that undefeated record, it gets a little dicey. It gets a little dicey. And we've got a few of those this week as well. But yeah, Rajabov started off with a bang, landed a bomb in less than 5 seconds, and right away, I knew I had made the right choice. From there, just overwhelming Ribovic for the next couple minutes. After that, Ribovic started to get back into it, landed a couple of decent combos on the feet. Rajabov just really never stopped going, though. Threw him down to the canvas, manhandled him the entire rest of the round. Obvious round for Rajabov in the first. Second, Ribovic was the one that landed big this time, wobbled Rajabov pretty bad, but he recovered, then slammed Ribovic down again. Did get back up, but started to get really walked down again on the feet. And this kind of continued the entire rest of the round until about 30 seconds left into the round, where Rajabov was hit very, very hard for the first time, got dropped, wobbled around the cage, and because of that, probably lost the round. I mean, it was, almost a fight ending scenario. So you got to think probably lost that round. Third round, they just let it all go. Ribovic was landing heavy combos. Rajabov moved back to the grappling because it was working so well, obviously. Lots of pretty wild grappling exchanges, gotta say. Ribovic reversed him briefly, then got back up, but was then dragged back down a couple of times. Then Rajabov was hit pretty bad again. Never stopped looking for those takedowns, even though he was clearly a bit dazed. Incredible round, incredible fight. Really, I mean, what a way to open the night. They've been doing such a good job of this recently. No idea who won the round or the fight, to be honest. And really, if we're being honest, probably could have been scored at 29-29, but people don't like that. So here we are giving split decisions, which is better. Is it though? Is it really? No, not really. Figured the judges were going to give it to Rajabov, and they did. It was 29-28. Fair enough. I mean, first round, third round made sense. Second round got dropped really bad right at the end of the round. Doesn't look good. Makes sense. But great. Great first fight there for Rajabov, and Ribovic looked pretty good too. He looks pretty good too. Yeah. So I'm sure we'll see both of them again quite a bit, especially Rajabov there. Second fight, Farid Basharat, Damon Blackshear. Thought it was pretty clear going into it. Figured Basharat would kind of run away with this one. Still thought it was going to be a decision though, but thought he would run away with it. Blackshear opened pretty wild with some crazy strikes, but Basharat, just like his brother, they're very calm. They're very calm. They don't care what you're doing if you're rushing in or whatever. They just, just wait it out, just slip some shots, stay back a bit, don't jump in, stay calm. And then as soon as the other guy, in this case, Blackshear, of course, starts to not necessarily slow down, but there's a break in the action, then they go in. That's what both of them do. They do it really, really well. And that's how they keep winning. He did that this time as well, of course. Um, but it was the pace of Blackshear, especially in this first round, that was the problem because there really weren't too many breaks. So Basharat was kind of just left waiting there and didn't really get a whole lot going that round. Basharat did get a little bit of grappling in there. Tough to say. And it's around like that where, I mean, I've said this over and over. That to me is a 10-10 because nobody ever really landed anything big. Blackshear probably winning a little bit more on the feet, but Basharat doing really well with the grappling. So to me, that's dead even. No damage really on either side, especially since Basharat never really got hit that bad at all. I mean, he got hit a couple of times, but nothing crazy, nothing big, and he dodged most of the rest of it. So you can't really say that Blackshear did anything crazy. Can't really say that Basharat did anything. So to me, that's a 10-10. It makes sense. So I would have scored that a 10-10, but if I had to pick, I would have given it to Basharat because he never really got hit that much at all, and he had the grappling. So if I had to pick, it would be that one. But I mean, it's so close. Call it what it is. It's a tie. Second round. Damone came out hard again. Obviously, that was his strategy at that point. Never stop going for the, yeah, just keep the pace going the whole time. That's his strategy there, of course, especially when you know Basharat is not really that kind of guy. um, what was I saying here? Where was I? After a couple more tries of Blackshear going for a takedown, he did eventually get it. And Basharat did go on his back briefly, but um, that didn't stop Basharat at all. Got back up pretty quick, then got a takedown of his own. Was then on top of Blackshear. Lots of ground and pound from there. I mean, kind of another 10-10, really, because they both basically, it was just kind of on the ground. Who did better on the ground? I don't know, because there was a lot of position switches. Neither one of them did a crazy amount of damage. Blackshear, um, Basharat, I should say, did land more ground and pound. I don't know. So I actually say I may have given it to Blackshear because he did a little better on the feet and was doing the grappling early. Like he did more of it, I guess. So maybe, but then of course the late ground and pound could have been Basharat. And this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying could have been a 10-10, should have been a 10-10. Again, I mean, you know, nobody's really taken anything here. It's just dead even the whole time. Third round. Just like before, Blackshear on top. Blackshear, the one pushing the pace early. This time, though, Basharat was starting to get a bit more aggressive than just defending and slipping. He was doing that, but also then really emphasizing the offense there. Probably knew, I got to make a statement this round because these are a little too close. Then, just like before, Basharat did regain control, took Blackshear down, pinned him on his back, and was there for a few minutes. Blackshear did get back up, tried to get something going on the feet, but Basharat slipped most of it and then had him pinned back down on the canvas again. Did get very interesting in the last 10, 15 seconds or so. late sub attempt by Blackshear, but Basharat got through that and got through to the final bell. I had it 29-28 if I was going to score it. If not, it would have been a 30-29. That's how I saw it. And for Basharat, and the judges agreed 29-28 for Basharat. After that, it was Tabitha Ricci and Jessica Penne, huge favorite in Tabitha Ricci. That was one of the main ones, one of the staples in our parlay, as was Basharat, but that did end up being pretty close. A little sweating a little bit there. Ricci, though, rock solid as ever. Knew she was going to win. Had her in pretty much every parlay that I made. Knew she was going to win. And yeah, dominant, just all out. Wasn't even close. May have even gotten a 10-8 round in the first there. It was pretty close to a 10-8. Not insane damage. So, 10-9 obviously would have made sense too, but I mean, it was definitely not really all that close. Ricci in the first round, for the first round. Second round, I mean, it just kind of continued from there. Did a massive judo throw. Love to see that. I love judo throws. They look so cool. Penne just kind of lying there on her back, trying to bait Ricci into a sub, which, I mean, that's not going to happen. Which is what I knew. I knew Penne was going to do that. She's not the I've been bit before by picking Jessica Penne mistakenly, and I knew that's why when I lose on somebody once, I don't tend to lose on the same person twice, because I know what I know the mistake that I made the first time, and this is the exact mistake, which was I thought Penne, good grappler and all that, but when you've got somebody who's younger than you and also a good grappler, and they're also good on the feet, and they don't give up their back and just play on the ground, don't give up their back. I mean, laying on their back, I should say, on the canvas. If you don't get up, you're losing the round. And if you don't get the submission, you lost the round. That's it. It's plain and simple. You spent the whole round on the bottom, you lose. That's why I don't pick people like that anymore, because of stuff like this. But yeah, and I knew, okay, from there, yeah, Ricci is totally fine. But out of nowhere, I mean, I thought, okay, it was just going to be this way for the whole 3 rounds, but out of absolutely nowhere, Ricci, I don't even know how she did it. Transition into, I can't remember, was it I think it was an armbar. Unbelievable transition from Ricci there into the armbar, tapped her out. Incredible. So yeah, great win for Baby Shark. Amazing. Love her. Then we had, love this guy too, Cameron Simon and Mana Martinez. Man, this guy, he really likes to make it close, because, man, Cameron Simon is so good. He is so unbelievably good for how old he is, and he has an incredible future in the UFC or anywhere, really. But, man, does he make some mistakes. I don't know if it's because he's so excited that he's like, oh, I want to show how good I am, because he is that good. He's so good. But then he just makes a couple of small mistakes, just, like a few inches off. He kicks a few inches higher. He's fine. He doesn't get no fouls, nothing. And then, you see him, the groin kick again. The second fight in a row where he gets a point taken away. That is not what you want to see. That is not what you want to see from from anybody, but especially somebody that talented, because then you're clearly winning these fights, but then you make a silly mistake and then you get the point taken away. And he's been so lucky so far that it hasn't cost him the fight. But in both cases, I mean, he was headed to a loss in the last one, probably because of the point deduction there, but he was lucky that he got the incredible finish at the end. This one, I was worried. I was really worried because of that point deduction. I was like, "Oh, man, I don't know. I think he might have lost this one because of that." Barely scraped by with the majority decision. And like I said, you don't wanna see that. You don't wanna see that at all because he's so good. It is painful to see somebody that good and, just making a couple of silly mistakes and almost losing like that. Because 'cause we've seen it before where people actually do lose like that, and it's like, "Oh my god," Your career might be ruined because of just a couple of tiny mistakes here and there. You hate to see that. Hate to see that. But he's still scraping by. So no more point deductions for Cameron Simon. Please, please do not do that. So that happened in the first round. First round point deduction. And rightfully so. I mean, he didn't he didn't argue it. He knew, "I'm so sorry. I fucked up. Just really bad." Makes sense. Wasn't mad about it, just mad at himself. Just like, I can't believe I just did that again, you know? And it ended up being a 9-9 round, for sure. For sure a 9-9 round there, I thought. Because Mana was doing well early, but I think, the point deduction to when that happens to certain people, it goes either way. You either start to fall apart because you're like, "Oh my god, I made a point deduction. Oh my god, I'm screwed now." And that does happen. You see that happen sometimes. And then there's the people like this where it's like, "Shit, I lost a point. I've got to go crazy now to get this round back." And that's what he did. And he did get the round back in my mind at least. Uh so, no complaints there. I think he handled it as well as he could have. I mean, he's obviously still pissed, but hey, you get the round back 9-9. We're still tied after one. We're all good. Second round. um, both guys getting more comfortable into it. Simon getting hit a little bit, definitely getting hit, but he was landing the much heavier shots. That was the thing. So I would say they were landing pretty close to the same number, maybe Mana a little bit more, but every time Simon landed, it was like, okay, you're definitely landing the better shots here. Excuse me. Especially the kicks. My God, his kicks are so good. I love a good kick. That's why I like him so much too. Not just because, I mean, he is also just super well rounded, and I love to see that. Grappling crazy, striking crazy. But whenever you see somebody that can kick like that, it's like, whoa, oh, whoa. That's why I like people like Barboza, Chikadze, the kicks. Oh my God, a good kick is like, there's nothing better. Nothing better than seeing a crazy kick like that. Fiziev. Oh my God. Fiziev is so good. So good. And we're seeing Fiziev not this week, but next week. Can't wait for that. Anyway, moving on. Um, he did land a bomb, dropped mana on his back. Weirdly did follow him down though. I don't think I would have done that. I probably would have let him get back up. And people make this mistake quite a bit. We saw this actually. Who else did that? Oh yeah, Keenan Song against Ian Gary, which is actually the next fight. We're going to talk about it then. But Keenan Song did the exact same thing. You see it every card. Every card somebody does it. It's the natural instinct. You drop them, you see them on the ground, you want to go for a ground and pound finish. But guess what? It's not really that simple. Like, all really, the best way to do it is to just you drop them, stand back. Just stand back. They have to. They have to stand back up right away as soon as the ref tells them to do it, or it's a stoppage. It's as simple as that. So if they're already rocked and they can barely stand, either they don't get up and you win, or they're severely compromised and they have to stand back up. And guess what? Now you're back in control. You can land as much as you want, and they're still dazed. They still don't really fully know what's going on. They're still like, I need a minute. But guess what? They don't get that minute because they're standing back up, and you rush in there with another with some more combos. But people just don't tend to do that. And you see, when people do that, when they realize that, that's when you start to see people really like, oh, they're a really tough person to beat because they don't make mistakes. They don't make stupid mistakes like that. They don't let the person recover on the ground. They don't get caught in a sub on the ground by doing that. Nothing. They just let them stand back up. They say, "Get the fuck up." And then light them up until that's it. So, simple mistake. Lots of people make it. He did that. But anyway, he did also land a lot of ground and pound. So what can you do? Busted open, man, a little bit. Clear round, clear round for Simon there. So I mean, I had him up. I guess that would be 19-18 at that point. Um, could have seen, could have definitely seen a 19-19 scenario for sure. Because of course, what would that be? No, couldn't see that. It would have been 10-8 the first round, and then Simon would have gotten it back. So it would have actually been 19-18 the other way. I guess I could have seen that because the first round was fairly close. Third round, Simon pressuring hard, walking forward, landing some pretty big shots, wobbling mana. Then another very unfortunate event. Simon landed a pretty bad eye poke. And to be honest, I really thought, I was like, oh no, buddy. Simon. Oh man. Like he's gonna get a point taken away again. That's what I thought. I thought, oh man, this is, there goes the parlay. There goes a couple parlays. There goes the betting on Simon. But thankfully, ref did not take the point away. And I gotta say, I wouldn't have taken the point away at that point either, because I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I thought it could have gone either way, really, because they did bring the doctor in. So at that point, okay. But again, it was pretty clearly an accident, obviously. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say on that one because now as I'm saying it, I'm kind of explaining, I could, it really could have gone either way. Could have been 50-50, could have taken a point away. I would have been pissed because of the bet, but I would have also understood. I would have been like, okay, well, he already got a point taken away for another foul. So he just did another one and the doctor came in this time. So definitely could have seen another point deduction. I don't know. It's tough to say in that scenario. It's really, there's no right answer. There's no right answer. And that's really a problem that we have. There is no right answer. There's never a right answer for MMA specifically. That's tough. That's tough. Or I guess really any refereeing in any sport, but especially in ours for sure. What was I going to say? Where are we here? Where are we? Nice combos from Mana after that, after the eye poke there. Simon then threw him down to the canvas. Just like before, lots of ground and pound from Simon. A little confused actually as to why he didn't do some more grappling. I was saying, okay, yeah, he did really well on the feet, but he's really good on the ground. And I didn't really see that a lot from Mana in his other fights. So to me, I actually thought this was going to be a grappling heavy matchup for Simon because he does tend to go either way. It depends on who he's fighting. He's one of those guys. Well, yeah, kind of like John Jones, actually, where John Jones, he picks a strategy based on the fighter. He either goes really good with the striking or he goes with the grappling, depends on who he's fighting. And Simon did that too before, but this time I don't know. I thought he would have gone with the grappling a little bit more, which is why I thought it was going to be such a dominant fight because he's so good at it, and also on the feet, of course, too. Well, and I guess it would have. I guess it would have been a pretty dominant fight, but of course, with a point deduction, what can you do? Um, yeah. Even with that, though, I still thought it was a pretty clear win for Simon. I thought he won all 3 rounds, to be honest. And 2 of the judges agreed with me. 29-26. I thought that was pretty generous. I didn't really see a 10-8 round in there. Even now that I'm looking at the scores, I'm kind of like, that's a weird way of scoring it, actually. Because it's 29-26. That means there was a 10-8 in there. 28-27. That also means there was a 10-8 in there. Strange. And 28-28, which again, I did say that that would make sense because of the first round. It would have been a 10-8 if you had it that way. If you had mana winning that round. So I understood 28-28, but now that I'm looking at it, it's like 29-26 and 28-27. That's a little strange. That is a little strange. I would not have given a 10-8 at any point. I would not have done that. So I don't know about that. But I had him winning. So I guess what can you do? Can't really complain. I mean, I wasn't complaining either way, but still. Then, as I mentioned, we had Ian Gary, Song Kanan. Figured this was going to be pretty one-sided. Lasted slightly longer than I thought. Song has been finished quite a bit early, but Ian Gary, not really the kind of guy that actually gets a whole lot of finishes. Gets some pretty dominant wins, which this was, but not really a whole lot of finishes. So made sense that it was a little late on this one. Yeah, the first round though, pretty slow to start, and again, that's what Gary does. He really does take his time. The first round is always like, why did I pick this guy? Why is he such a big favorite again? I think that every single time in the first round, I'm like, why is this guy? Why did I do this? Why did I put so much emphasis on this guy? And then it gets longer into the fight, and it's like, oh, right, okay, now I get it. Because he's the kind of guy where it's like he avoids all the early damage, learns what the guy's doing, tires the other guy out, and then second, like late second, then definitely in the third, runs away with it completely. And he does that pretty much every single time. So yeah, I really should expect that from now on. And I kind of did, but I kind of figured, okay, well, Song really is not in the same league as him, so kind of thought it would have been a little earlier. Anyway, but that being said, made a terrible mistake in the first round. I thought he was out. I did. I really did. I thought it was like, well, Gary just lost. Dropped on his face. Seriously, I think he actually hit his face on the canvas, which might have woken him up actually, because then he got back up and he was fine after that. But man, that was bad. And he said it himself. Gary said it himself. Yes, terrible mistake by him, but also terrible mistake by Song Kanan because he just went towards the grappling after, and that's, as I just said in the previous fight, we see that quite a bit. We see that quite a bit where the other fighter just makes that mistake. They see, oh, I got this guy hurt. I got to jump on top of him. Oh my God. And then they go into the clinch along the fence because it's like, oh, he's hurt. I'm going to get him along the fence. Oh, he's on the ground. I'm going to get him on the ground. No, all you got to do, they have to trade with you. Just get them to stand back up, get away from the fence, and then do what you got to do there. And he probably would have won at that point. He probably would have. And Gary said that himself too. If he would have just kept going with the striking and not tried to go for grappling for no reason, probably would have been okay. He probably would have won. You see it a lot. A lot of mistakes. And I mean, what can you say? I mean, I can say that I'm sitting here, but I mean, guess what? If I got punched in the face, would I be thinking that? Probably not. If I dropped somebody with a massive punch, would I go and probably try and get them on the ground there? Yeah, probably. So, but that's what the show is. This is what it is. I got to tell it how it is. I got to say, yeah, that's the mistake that was made there. But second round, third round, clearly Gary all the way around, dominated him from there. Very, very impressive. He really is actually pretty impressive. It's just when you're watching him. When I'm watching him, I'm like, I don't know. I don't there's still a part of me that doesn't really think he's that great. There is that part of me that's still thinking that, but you can't argue with the results that he really does end up dominating his opponents, and he is still undefeated. How can you argue with that? You can't really. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still 50-50 on him. Like, yeah, obviously I'm gonna pick him to beat somebody like this. I mean, come on now. But would I pick him to beat somebody in the top 15? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. He is getting there though. He is definitely getting better and better each time. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I would pick him against anybody in the top 15 right now. After one or two more fights, maybe, maybe. I don't know. It's one of those guys where it's like I just can't tell if he's the real deal or if not. I really can't. And it's kind of like Patty too. Actually, yeah, Patty is a great example of that too because I can't tell if he's really really good or not because he's struggling. I mean, like every fight he's in, I'm like he's not making this easy and he's not making it look easy. So I can't tell if he's really good or if I don't want to say fraud, but if he's a fraud getting ready to get exposed, in that kind of way. Obviously, I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like, people are making him out to be this top 10 guy that's shooting up for a title, but he's, I don't think he's that for sure, but it's tough to tell. Tough to tell with some of these guys because they're not, especially when they're giving him people like this, where it's like, you should be getting a finish but you're not really getting a finish, but you're also beating them dominantly. So I can't tell what's what anymore. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting from especially Ian Gary. I can't tell how good he is. And there are other people like that. I can't think of any other ones off the top of my head other than Patty, but that's a pretty good example. After that, I should really move this along. I mean, we're dragging along here. Marc-Andre Barriault, Julian Marquez. I had Barriault by finish. Pretty glad I did that. I have never really been too impressed by Julian Marquez, really. Not that I've been horribly impressed by Barriault either, but I mean, it's just the toughness, and then I thought the ground game. I actually really thought this was going to be the ground game that was going to be the thing here. Didn't really use it actually for quite a while. But yeah, it's the toughness, the cardio, just the relentless moving forward for Barriault. His that's his strength. He's kind of like a zombie, really. He's the Canadian zombie. That's what they should call him. They really should. I mean, Power Bar is pretty cool too, but the Canadian zombie, come on. I'm trying to think of another one. Nah, the Maple Marauder. I should keep that name, Maple Marauder. I'm gonna put that in the game actually. Anyway, I'm just spitballing here. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it's that relentless walking forward, and he never stops. That just gets to people over time, and I knew that was going to be a thing here too, and that's exactly what he did. He definitely lost. I mean, I would say lost the first round. It was pretty close. Barriault was doing well, definitely more active, and then Marquez started to land a lot better. Wobbled him a couple of times. So I kind of thought Marquez got the opening round. Second round, yeah, it was pretty brutal. It was yeah, a lot of Barriault just wailing on Marquez. I don't know how many shots. Truly, I have no idea how many shots Barriault landed in the clinch that just absolutely destroyed Julian Marquez, but probably too many. And this was one of the times where I was like, I think you could actually stop this fight. I'm never going to be like, I mean, well, I'm not going to say never because I have seen one. I think at least one where I was like, oh, fuck, they should stop this. But generally, no, I'm not the kind of guy that's ever going to say you should probably stop this. But this time it was kind of nearing that point, and definitely any other ref, I would have thought for sure would have stopped that fight for sure. because it definitely was getting to that point. Yeah. So yeah, pretty good win for Barrios though. Very, very impressive. At least the second round was. First round, not so much. And that's again pretty common for Barrios. But great win. Great to see a Canadian get a win. And I'm glad I actually sided with the Canadian and the Canadian actually got it this time. Because let me tell you, that does not happen very often, especially for me, because I tend to bet almost exclusively against Canadians, really. And yeah, very rarely side with them. And when I do side with them, they tend to lose. So very happy to actually be on the right side of a Canadian pick this time. And they actually got the one. The win. The one. Lol. Fight number 7 here. Amanda Ribas, Viviane Araujo. Very close on paper. I knew this was going to be close. And I got to say, I did go with Araujo, even though, again, I've said this over and over. Love Amanda Ribas. I wanted her to win. I like her a lot. She is such, I love her personality. I love somebody that's just that happy and positive all the time. I really, really do. So I'm a huge fan of Ribas. I had to pick against her though, like I said. Araujo, I mean, we just saw her go 5 rounds against Grasso, new champ, Alexa Grasso. So, I mean, I knew she was going to be really good. And Ribas, she's really good, but hasn't really done that well at 125. I mean, again, Chukagian beat Chukagian, by the way. Bullshit decision. Clearly, Ribas won that fight. Just saying that Chukagian lost that one. So, and that really kind of was like, oh, she did beat Chukagian, so maybe I should pick Ribas. But I gotta say, it was the size and the style of Araujo that I kept seeing against Grasso. That was kind of like, if she can hang this long with Grasso and do this well, I think she'll probably be a little bit too much for Ribas. But man, was it close. It really, really was close on paper. And it was also very close in the fight. At first. At first. So yeah, first round, it was so close that I actually had it again as a 10-10. I actually gave it to Araujo though, I gotta say. If I had to pick one, would have been Araujo for me. Lots of ground stuff. Araujo threatened a submission at one point. Ribas did slip out of it, was on top, tried to get some shots going, but really it was kind of just a stalemate on the ground. And they actually just ended up standing up. There was no like, get off, like, oh my God, I can't get her off of me. No, it was like, I think we should both just stand up now. That's kind of what happened. It was like, I don't think anybody's winning here. This is a stalemate. Let's just stand up. And that's kind of what they did after that. Yeah. And then Araujo was the one walking forward, landed a great shot, seemed to stumble Ribas. So because of that, like I said, I gave her the round, unless, 10-10. But if I had to pick, probably would have been Araujo. Second round, opened with a bang as Ribas landed a bomb, dropped her twice in a row. And at that point, it was like, okay, yeah, Ribas is going to win this fight. And from there, you went on top of Araujo from there. And Araujo really just stalling. She was kind of just stalling her, just holding Ribas down, not really letting Ribas do anything, but also not really doing anything herself, not trying to get back up, just stalling. And lots of chippy shots on the ground, a little bit of ground and pound from Ribas. So that was a pretty obvious round for Ribas there. Possibly a 10-8. Possibly a 10-8. But yeah, I had it tied. I mean, I guess because it wasn't like crazy dominant, but I could have seen a 10-8. And we did actually end up seeing two 10-8 rounds from on the cards, I should say. 2 judges had a 10-8 round for that one. Third round, Araujo walked her down, but Ribas definitely had the much higher pace. And that's where the cardio was coming in, because we obviously know that Ribas has the cardio. She was fighting at 115. She obviously has the cardio. Araujo, much bigger, really muscular, so doesn't tends to fall off after a few rounds. And that's what was happening. Just couldn't keep up the pace. Nothing crazy. Did get hit a couple of times, did get stumbled once there, but yeah, pretty clear round again for Hebos in that one, at least. Though the last two rounds pretty clear. So yeah, I mean, I had it, if we're not doing 10-10s, I had it 29-28. But 29-27 also made a lot of sense. And that's exactly what we saw on the cards. One of them did have it 29-27. One of them had it 30-26. And one of them had it 30-27. I did say it was really, 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 really close in the first round. But again, Hivas did kind of seem a little stumbled. So what can you do? I don't know. Like I said, it's a 10-10 round. And that's exactly what I mean by that. If judges who are watching the same fight scored it differently, one had it 10-9 one way, one had it 10-9 the other way, that's a 10-10. That is literally a 10-10. If they could not tell who won, that's a tie. That's a fucking tie. What are you talking about? If you have different results, that's a tie. That's a 10-10. I don't know any other way you could realistically, logically, if you thought about it for too long, see that. That's the only way you could see that. 10-10. Anyway, moving on. I will talk about this every single week forever. Prelim number one that I had talked about was DDP, Dricus du Plessis, Derek Brunson, and figured DDP was going to brutalize him pretty bad, actually. And that is exactly what we saw, to the point where we saw the second towel being thrown into the octagon. I don't think it was ever, but the second one that I've ever seen, and online, and even actually in the commentary booth, they said, I think that's only the second time that's ever happened. And I saw both of them. It was just in the last few months, actually. And they said it was Brunson who did it the first time too. It might have been, but I don't think it was, but it might have been. Anyway, so we saw that again. Yeah. First round, I mean, that's when Brunson's going to be his best at grappling. So I wasn't really overly surprised by that at all. Did have a little harder time than I thought, really. Yeah. No, wait, hold on here. Yeah, so Brunson did get him down, but then he got back up, and DDP actually then threw him down and started to get ground and pound going in the first round. And then there was a lot of grappling back and forth. Nobody really getting a whole lot. And then Brunson actually landed quite a few bombs and dropped DDP to the canvas. And at that point, I was like, oh no. Oh no. Brunson's winning on the feet and on the ground. That's not good. So yeah, obvious round for Brunson in the first, but the second round, that's where it all switched. And I kind of figured that was going to be where DDP was going to be better anyway. Obviously didn't think that was going to happen in the first round, but second round, third round, I mean, that is usually where DDP starts to really run away with it. And that's exactly what happened. Brunson seemed to be a bit reckless at the start of the second round, maybe not really respecting what was coming at him because of what he did in the first round. Walked straight into a hook that wobbled him pretty bad. That did not stop Brunson, though. He was still pressuring pretty hard against DDP there. Then it seemed as though Brunson was really starting to slow down. And then, that's when Dricus does his best work, is when he kind of grinds down his opponents to the point where it's like, I can't keep up with this guy anymore. Like, I can't keep up with this. Keep DDP busy. I can't keep him busy anymore. And then he starts to hunt you down. That's what he does. and he did it this time too. Yeah, and he was really getting hit over and over again. They ended up, of course, we saw on the ground, ground and pound. We see the towel get thrown in as the bell was getting rung there. And you know what? I can't argue with that. I really I don't like that kind of thing. Like when I see it in boxing, it's like what a bunch of pussies. That's what I think about boxing, where it's like, oh my God, like, come on, really? Like, if you were in MMA right now, this is like just a regular fight. You know, like, okay, you're getting hit a little bit. Boom, throw the towel in. Like, boring. But I gotta say, in this case, it was like, meh, I could see that. It was not looking good. It was not looking good. I mean, like, Brunson was literally like this, like on the ground, arm in the air, like slammed right in the head. It wasn't looking good. It was not, and he clearly was not going to be able to mount a comeback. So, totally respect that. And you know, maybe we should see that more. There are a couple times where I've seen that, and it was like, yikes. I mean, well, the first one that comes to mind is obviously, I mean, Brian Ortega against Volkanovski. That was a holy shit kind of moment where it was like, fuck, like you should stop this fight. My God. Of course, amazingly, he almost actually wins the fight after that. So that's why you kind of don't want to stop these, because you never know. You really never know. But in the moment, in this moment, can't argue with it. Really cannot argue with that. And then we had the other prelim that I talked about, Cody Garbrandt, Trevin Jones, and that one is actually, the notes are on my phone. Oh, I actually should have transferred it over because I figured it out, folks. I finally figured out why the airdrop was not working specifically from my phone to the laptop, because it worked every other which way. I could send things from my laptop to my phone and a different phone to this laptop, but not this phone to that laptop. It was the only thing that wasn't working. And I did not understand. And I finally figured it out. Finally fixed it. So this will be hopefully the last time that I have to look from my phone about these. Moving on. It started pretty slow. Both guys kind of cautious. I mean, makes sense. They're both kind of on a losing streak, really not doing all that well. Garbrandt was really the only one actually doing anything at all. Trevin was kind of just standing there, really. I mean, I'm not saying he was like, who was the guy that just got kicked out? Not like that guy. He wasn't that inactive, but definitely fairly inactive. And it seems like we have a comment, so I'll click on it. Do you watch Jesse on Fire? No, I don't actually. I think I've heard of that, but no, I do not. But yes, continuing on, entire round really with Jones landing he landed a grand total of less than 5 strikes. Less than 5 strikes for Trevin Jones. So obviously, first round goes to Cody. Second round, the exact opposite. Jones runs in there, gets slammed into the canvas, did get back up, got slammed down a second time. The new Cody, grappling Cody. And never really got anything going with it. Jones did, I should say. Another obvious round for Cody Garbrandt. Third round, same way, minimal action from both sides, really. Weird strategy from Cody, though, I gotta say. Literally throwing 0 offense the entire round. I don't really know what he was thinking at all. I truly, I was just kind of watching, and I was like, what is he doing here? What's the play here? Why is he? I just don't understand. I don't understand what the thought process was there. I mean, sure, you don't want to run in and get finished, obviously, but I mean, dominated him with grappling actually in the first 2 rounds. You could do it again. I mean, or I don't know, do something. But he really didn't throw anything at all the third round. So made it needlessly close, I would say, because of that third round. I mean, obviously I had it 29-28. The judges had it 29-28 as well, but You don't leave it up to the judges like that. Like, don't give a round away. What if he landed a bigger one and you just got 10-8'd and you just gave him a draw because you didn't do anything? Like, you actually gave the round away. Not smart. Not smart. Never give a round away on purpose like that. Don't do that. But anyway, good win for Cody Garbrandt. Nice to see him doing what he needs to do. You know, don't get into firefight. Don't test the chin. Don't do that. Just win the fight. Win the fight with what you got. You got the skills. Put it all together, win the fight. And that's what he did. Pretty impressed. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Then we had the main card. Opened up with Bo fucking Nickel. Amazing way to start the pay-per-view. I don't care what these haters are saying doesn't deserve a spot on the pay-per-view. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Incredible. Incredible. And we saw that. Nickel slipped down to his knees at the start of the fight, which was a hilarious, terrible way to start your debut. I laughed. I think he laughed about it after too. I mean, definitely embarrassing way to start. Not good at all, but recovered pretty quickly. And really got a kind of a takedown out of it, actually. Pickett did get back up, got thrown against the fence, and then we saw groin shot, which I did see the interview on the MMA Hour Monday. And I mean, I can't speak to that. I thought he landed a groin kick too, but I will completely agree with what Bo said about it after, and I was going to say the same thing. There was a pretty big gap in between what happened with the nut shot. There was a pretty big gap between that and the actual finish. So it's kind of like maybe that started the takedown, but guess what? It definitely did not. He had the choke in there for quite a bit. You can't tell me that was, fully affecting him at that point, even if he did get groin kicked, which we found out kind of didn't get groin kicked, actually. And again, the way that Bo actually talked about it was that he shook his hand after, Pickett was happy after, and he said, go get that belt. He was happy about, he was like, good for you, man. You beat me fair and square. And that was it. So if Pickett himself was not mad about it, and Pickett himself, even in the cage after, was like, "Oh, you got me. You got me. Good job. You beat me fair and square. You got me. You're amazing. Go get the belt." To me, that where in that statement, where in that series of events do you hear, "Oh my God, I got hit in the groin. Give me a rematch"? Like, no. That's not happening in there at all. So I'm definitely on their side on that one. It's ridiculous to think that people are complaining and that they're actually challenging it somehow. Like, that's absurd. It's absurd. It really is. But yeah, dominant win for Nickel. Really, the only thing he could have done better, I guess, is not throw the knee to the thigh and create controversy, I guess. That's the only thing he could have done better, I guess. I don't know. He's still unbelievable, obviously. But yeah, another incredible win. Second fight of the main card, Mateusz Gamrot, Jalen Turner. Knew this was going to be an incredible fight, and boy, was it ever. Turner used the crazy size early, land shots from a distance, after waiting for his moment, because that's what he does. I mean, he's too smart to get clipped by somebody like Turner like that. Gamrot then got the takedown, slithered his way up Turner's body. It was actually really cool to watch because he's so much shorter. It was like just an incredible takedown. The technique was amazing. And not only that, you could literally see him like hold on and just literally shimmy up Turner's body. It was crazy to watch. I love grappling skills like that. I mean, grappling is just insane to watch. It really is. When it's that high level, there's nothing more impressive than that. There really isn't. And that's why I love watching Gamrot so much. And Sarukian, that fight was unbelievable to watch with the grappling. Anyway, Again, we're really dragging these on. I mean, we just got to the main card, for fuck's sake. Long fights, though, I guess, too. Not really a whole lot of early finishes. Anyway, um, yeah, Turner did eventually get back up, but I mean, you don't want to get taken down like that and really just smothered on the ground like that. Not a good look. Gamrot was then dropped by a massive shot. Looked a little rough, but he did use that to get on top of Turner and probably won the round, if we're being honest. I did give that to Gamrot, but you know, knockdown, you could have given it to Turner for sure. Second round, pretty tight, pretty slow again to start. Then started to heat up with Turner landing some pretty heavy shots. Then led to a lot of grappling from Gamrot. Surprise, surprise. Turner wasn't really giving him any space anymore, though. Walked him down, shut down the takedowns. Gamrot finally got a takedown and had him locked in a crucifix this time more than once. Landed a lot of ground and pound because of that, and definitely won that round. So either it was tied or Gamrot was up by 2 at that point. Could have gone either way, really, with that one. With the first round, I should say. That was really the only one that was up for grabs. Third round, Gamrot didn't waste any time. Obviously knew it was close on the cards. Again, very, very smart guy. You can't, you know, well, I mean, he's got one loss. Well, 2 losses, I should say. Lost to Dariush, lost to Kuta Telatse in his debut, and that wasn't even a loss. He won that fight. I watched it again. I've seen it twice actually, and yeah, he definitely won that fight. That's garbage. Definitely did lose the Dariush one though, but again, well, actually no, that to me that was actually a really close fight too. Really. Anyway, again, we're getting off track here. Fuck. Third round, yeah, did not waste any time at all. Notched the takedown right away. Turner did keep getting up, but Gamrot just completely relentless. And we'll see somebody doing the exact same thing this weekend. Merab Dvalishvili does the exact same thing. Never lets anybody go. Will walk you down 24/7. Just every single second of every round, Merab Dvalishvili is going to be walking you down and trying to throw you through the canvas. That is what he's doing constantly. And Gamrot does a lot of the same thing. I mean, he's a little more careful, I would say, with the striking, and he's pretty well rounded too. But yeah, similar kind of thing, especially in this round. Yeah, and I will say, and I mean, Joe Rogan was getting on them about it. I think it was Cormier who also said the same thing. I hate it too. The ref stood them up. I thought that was garbage. I mean, you work this whole time to get him into this position on the ground. I think it was either on the ground or no, it was along the fence this time. You know, it's not easy to get somebody, especially somebody who's huge like Jalen Turner. It's not easy to get them along the fence. And then you take it away from them. I don't know. And it seemed pretty early too. Like it was like he's still working and he's still doing stuff. And he actually even, oh no, that was somebody else that kind of yelled at the ref about it. But Gamrot was also, I mean, Gamrot just kind of went with it. He was like, oh, whatever, fine. Take away my position. I don't give a fuck. I'm just going to do the same thing again. And that's exactly what he did. He did the same thing again. Pretty obvious round for Gamrot. Yeah. So it seemed like a pretty clear 29-28 at the very least for Gamrot. I did not agree with the scoring on this at all. 29-28 makes sense, Gamrot. 29-28 for Turner. I really don't see how you could score it that way at all. That's kind of silly to me. That's makes no sense. And then 30-27 for Gamrot. That does make sense. I saw it 29-28, but again, first round was pretty close. Second and third round, though, not close at all. Don't really see how you could score it for Turner at all. And that ended up being as you could tell, a split decision for Gamrot. Very impressive. I mean, what can you say? Already knew he was the real deal after the Sarukian win, but man, is this guy good. And really pretty close to beating Dariush as well. Just remember that too. So yeah, clearly very much the real deal. Then we had Shavkat. Shavkat and Jeff Neal. What a fight. What a fight. Shavkat opened up as expected, hard with a head kick, pushed Neal into the fence. The toughness of Neal, my God. The whole fight, really. Not even just the first round, obviously. The entire fight. Man, unreal. Unreal toughness on there. Neal started to get his combos going, was doing well, but then really started to get clipped by Shavkat, pushed into the fence. They traded in the center of the cage for a bit. Shavkat landed a big again, slammed another head kick into Neal, wobbled him into the fence, wobbled him a couple more times, wibble wobble all over the place. Clearly, very clearly won that round. Shavkat. Yeah. Second round, dominance continued into the second. Neal was, he was doing his best to avoid a lot of the big damage, but just could not get away. Just kept getting hit, wobbling all over the place. Neal did land a few bigger ones this round, but Shavkat would then come back and land his own big ones. Neal definitely did a lot better this second round, though, for sure, as I mentioned, but still pretty clearly lost the round. And Shavkat, thanks to Shavkat's extra power and the output, power and output, not just one, but both. So yeah, 2-0 there for Shavkat. Then third round, the first time in the UFC for sure, Shavkat was actually rocked pretty bad. I was a little worried, actually. Almost fell to the canvas. He got hit hard. Recovered pretty nicely from that, though. Landed some nice heavy combos, pushed him into the fence. Then Shavkat once again wailing on Neal with these huge combos, busted his face open, and then out of nowhere, locked in a standing submission. Did not see that one coming at all, and neither did Neal. And out of nowhere, I mean, Neal just slumped to the ground completely out. It was like 1 second he was fighting the choke on his feet, and then you could see him tap, but the tap didn't make a difference. He still was unconscious, fell on the ground like that, and you could see him for actually quite a while. It was at least 30 seconds or so. He was on the side like this, just like, like, whoa, like, fuck, like, what just happened kind of thing. Sitting on the ground like that. So yeah, unbelievable. Obviously, unbelievable for Shavkat. Very, very impressive win. Yeah, because Neal's the real deal. We saw that, or the real deal Neal. That should be his name, actually. What is his nickname? I actually can't remember. Hands of Steel Neal. Right. Oh, that's pretty good too, actually. Yeah, that's better than mine. Real deal Jeff Neal. Hands of Steel Neal. Yeah. Kind of like mine better, to be honest. Anyway, incredible win for Shavkat. And I think, honestly, he was kind of actually doing a little bit of what Chimaev was doing, which is striking on purpose. He didn't need to strike. He probably could have taken him down a lot easier and grinded him out with that kind of stuff, but chose to strike instead. And I think I genuinely think that was probably what he was doing, because Chimaev did the exact same thing against Burns. He could have just wrestled him. Didn't want to, wanted to strike with him. Got to respect that. Takes one absolute lunatic to do that kind of stuff. Co-main event. The biggest women's fight of the year so far. Shevchenko, Grasso. Obviously, massive favorite Shevchenko going into this. And I obviously also had Shevchenko. And I actually had a Shevchenko finish because I thought, okay, well, she's just better on the ground. I didn't think she was going to get a submission, but I figured, okay, probably a knockout, if I'm being honest, because she's just relentless with the striking, but also ground and pound, kicks and all that. Figured she was probably going to get a finish like that, a TKO in like the fourth or the fifth round. Little did I know there was going to be a finish in the fourth round, but it wasn't going to be by Valentina. But we'll go through it real quick here. First round, went, I was going to say as I expected, but definitely not. It was as I expected at first. Grasso trying to land, Valentina getting her reads, countering hard. That's what Valentina does in the first round. So I wasn't really all that surprised by her losing the first round because she clearly lost the first round. Grasso obviously won that because Grasso was just more active. But again, that's what Valentina does. She takes her time, doesn't care. Usually, the first round doesn't really matter, really. It's more so I want to know what this person is doing so that rounds 2 through 5, I'm going to absolutely destroy them. And that's what she was doing. Second round, after giving up the first round, second round, Grasso did keep the pace going, but Shevchenko just took her down right away. Started to move her from there, overwhelming Grasso on the ground. She did get back up eventually, but definitely not the start you want at all. And Valentina got another takedown, obviously tied it up 1-1 there. Third round, once again, pretty slow start. This time, Valentina landed some huge combos, stumbled Grasso a bit, and this is kind of where I was getting at before, where it's like she's just making her reads the first round. So second, third, fourth round comes in a lot heavier on the striking. Makes sense. Well, of course, she did go to the grappling the second round, but again, anyway, what was I going to say? Valentina got a beautiful takedown right in the middle of the cage. And this is where it was like with the refs, they stood the fighters back up. At that point, I was like, oh, that's bullshit right there. The clinch one, okay, fine. They're against the fence. Gamrot probably isn't doing a whole lot. I don't like it there either. But this one was egregious to say the least. I mean, Valentina on top in the middle of the cage, not even close to the cage, by the way, not even close to the fence, I should say. So that's basically the most dominant position you can be in because against the fence, it's a lot easier to get up. If you're in the middle of the cage and on top of somebody, you're probably not getting up unless you're really good or the person on top of you isn't necessarily that good. So, yeah, Grasso was not getting up from that. So that was garbage. And this time, Valentina actually was kind of arguing. She was like, what are you talking about? And she was actually throwing shots. She was doing damage and working. And then the ref just comes in and is like, I get up. And Valentina was like, what are you talking about? I don't know. That one was garbage to me. That one was terrible. Yeah. But again, didn't really matter that round. Valentina did take her down again and took her back. Grasso locked in a sub with about 5 seconds left. Didn't really do anything. So at that point, it was a pretty obvious 2-1. Fourth and eventually the final round. Yeah. Very different, very different. Shevchenko opened with a takedown attempt, but was shut down this time. That actually was pretty surprising. Well, not pretty surprising. It was a little surprising. I mean, we just saw in the round before that she dominated with the grappling. But yeah, what was I going to say here? Yeah, it was basically, we all saw it. Grasso just capitalized on a rare Valentina mistake, which is throwing spinning shit, And we've seen that over and over. And it is actually kind of surprising. I did see a couple people online saying that. Why does she throw so many spinning attacks when when you've seen other people get taken down the exact same way? It happens a lot. which is why people don't throw spinning attacks against grapplers, because they know if I throw a spinning attack as a striker, I'm going to get taken down by this grappler almost every single time. So it is a little bit irresponsible as a champ like that to give them that opening, because if she doesn't do that, I don't see any other way that I don't Valentina was winning that fight, like 100%. There's absolutely no way she was going to lose that fight if that didn't happen. And I mean, Valentina said that herself too. She wasn't going to lose, but made one simple mistake, and that's all it takes. Had no chance from there. Grasso, as quick as she is, saw the spinning attack, jumped in on it immediately with the takedown before she was even done spinning on the ground, took her back right away. Valentina had no idea what had happened, was just like, holy shit, she's on me. And then really it was too late from there. She couldn't get out of it. I at that point it was like, yeah, there's no getting out of that. As soon as it happened, I had my mouth. I was literally like, I honestly don't know if I've ever done that while watching a fight, where I was, because I'm always, I'm always typing a little bit, trying to get my notes down. And then, also just watching, and, I'll be the occasional like, whoa, I'll like, whoa, like, I'll, something like that. But this time it was like, I can't believe I just saw that. I cannot believe that she just took Valentina down like that and took her back, because as soon as I saw that, I was like, I'm not sure if she can get out of this. And it just kept going and going, and she just kept getting deeper and deeper, and Valentina wasn't getting out of it, and I was like, I think this is it. I think she actually might have it here. I think she might have it. And there it was. Incredible. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm actually mean that. I could not believe it. I could not believe that I just saw that. Unreal. Unreal. I still don't even really have anything else to say other than that was one hell of a, just the planning involved in that. And we saw the videos after that she knew Valentina through those spinning things. She knew she was going to consistently do that and capitalized on it. And man, did she capitalize on it. As soon as she saw it, went right on in there, got that takedown, and that was it. Did not have a chance to defend herself at all. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And new champ. Crazy. I cannot wait to watch that again. I will say though, I mean, you're gonna get a much better line on Valentina now, that's for sure. Because we just saw her lose. So it's, instead of it being minus 900, she's probably gonna be minus 500. Minus, maybe minus 300. You're probably gonna see leading up to the next one. And honestly, yeah, I'm gonna be taking Valentina, because as much as I really do like Grasso as a person, as a fighter, everything. I'm a fan. And as much as, I can't say that was a fluke. That obviously was not a fluke. That was a strategic move that she had drilled for months and really took advantage of that. But I got to say, if Valentina did not throw any spinning attacks, she would have won the fight easily. Easily won the fight. She would have won the middle 3 rounds, which already would have won her the fight. And who knows what would have happened the final round. Maybe Grasso does something crazy, maybe wins the round. I don't know. But, you know, if she doesn't do that spinning attack, we're talking about an 8th title defense right now. So, I can't even really see an area that was like, oh, that was a problem and Grasso has a pretty good chance of winning again. Honestly, it's just like she's going to have to find another gaping hole like that in Valentina's game. She has to find another small hole and just look for that one specific thing and jump on it like that, because She is not going to win over 5 rounds like that. She's not going to win a decision. That's just not happening. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't really see how Grasso wins the next one because Valentina is not that kind of person. She knows exactly what she did wrong, and she will never do that ever again. You're not going to catch Valentina with the same thing twice. And guess what? Now that she lost, you better watch out because she's coming way harder now. Way harder now than ever. I would be terrified. Because yeah, she's not somebody you want to mess around with. So I'm seeing a real scary Valentina coming back in the next one. But anyway, that's the next one. This one, amazing, amazing win for Grasso. Super happy. I mean, fuck the parlays and all that. Fuck the betting. As a fight fan, I actually am pretty happy for Grasso, of course. I mean, super nice, super respectful, super just a great person overall, and also really talented. And you love to see it from Mexico too. So, you know, definitely still happy. Yeah, not really a whole lot other to say else to say other than that. The main event, my God, I was shocked by the co-main, but I really was just as speechless, if not even more speechless, after I saw the main event. I Even now, I don't even know what to say because I've never seen anything like that before. I really have never seen anything like that before. I mean, going into it, we talked about this last week. I specifically even said, I don't know which way to go with this. I really don't know who to pick because on the one hand, Jones hasn't fought in 3 years, moving up a weight class. He also didn't really look great on the scales this week, but we didn't know that at the time, of course. Last week, we didn't know that because the weigh-ins hadn't happened. Um, Also, but didn't look great, and that actually led me to almost switch. I was like, "Gon looks so much bigger than him. He really does. I don't know. I don't know. This could be a problem." And I even thought I was like, Gon went to a decision with Francis Ngannou, beat Francis Ngannou in my mind. I mean, even with the mistake that he made, I thought he still won. But even so, I mean, seriously, if he doesn't go for the heel hook, we've said this over and over again too. If he doesn't go for the heel hook, he definitely wins that round, and he wins the decision. He's the champ. Ngannou, we Ngannou is irrelevant at that point. I mean, yeah, he's a crazy power puncher, but he lost the title, and we wouldn't even be talking about this right now. We wouldn't even care. We would be like, Ngannou, whatever. I mean, not to that extent, but because he's obviously still a freak in the best way possible, by the way. Obviously, again, super nice guy, but like a freak of nature for sure. Biological freak to say the least. I mean, cuts down to 265 and the guy's a brick wall. I mean, good God. Just truly unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. The physique and the boxing skill. Like the power. My God. If he really hones his boxing skills, that's a dangerous boxer right there. I mean, that's like, you know, bigger than Mike Tyson kind of physique. That's crazy physique. Anyway, so, going 5 rounds with him and kind of beating him. And that was his only loss, really. Literally was his only loss. So it was like, which Gon said himself actually after this fight. He said that wasn't really even a loss to me because, for one, kind of thought he won too. But he didn't say that. But he was like, I went the whole distance. Could have gone either way. Judges went with him. I don't really feel like that wasn't a real loss to me, which is fair. I didn't think it was a real loss either, even just watching it. But but that just sets up the whole picture of it. It's like you got Jones on the one side, and by the way, Jones is older. He's even older now, and he's older than Gon. So it's like there's just so much, you know, there was so much going for Gone where it was like, man, I don't think this is going to be good for Jones. I don't know. This is going to be rough. And I even said it too. I think this is going to be a decision, and one of these two guys is going to do a little bit more and win the fight. And I thought because of the size and because he did so well with Ngannou, I was like, man, I think he could definitely win this one. But I ended up, like I said, going with Jones because of the experience and because I was like, well, he does have the wrestling skill, so maybe he'll just manhandle him on the ground for 5 rounds, or at least 3 out of the 5 rounds, and just barely scrape by with a win. That's what I thought was going to happen. And then we see what we saw, which was holy shit. That is actually what I said. I think pretty much everybody said that. Just wow. He and I mean, I think Ariel says a lot of these things the best. It was kind of like he really did make Gon look like he didn't even belong in the conversation. That's what it looked like. It was like, why is Gon getting a title shot again? That's what it looked like. And it was like Gon does not belong here, does not ever deserve to be in a title conversation at all. That's what it looked like. But I mean, that's not what everybody was saying 2 weeks ago. That's not what everybody was saying 2 weeks ago. So you gotta remember that. You gotta remember how high everybody was on Cyril Gone before this. And again, I agree with exactly what Ariel was saying. It's like there's there's a very clear top 3, top 4 in MMA and heavyweight. I mean, before this, Ngannou, um, and then what was it? Yeah, Ngannou, Gone, Stipe, and then we kind of don't really know where everybody else is. They're kind of all over the place. But that was the top 3, and it was like, well, we kind of think Jones is probably at the Stipe level. You know, Gon is probably going to beat Stipe. He's younger. He's, a little bit bigger. He's quicker. It's going to be close if they fought. But, could go either way. You're talking about splitting hairs there. But that's the top 3. And then Jones, we'll see where Jones fits in. That's what it looked like. But, I mean, then we saw just dominance. Just goat shit. I mean, like, there's no other way to describe what happened other than that was quite literally pure dominance. Gon got nothing going at all, and Jones just beat him. He just finished him. That was it. So it's like, uh, and that was the guy. That was the number 2 guy. That was the guy we were all saying, this is the future of the heavyweight division, other than Aspinall, of course. But this is the future of heavyweight. Cyril Gane, Tom Aspinall, people like that. That's the future. And for him to get taken down like that and just embarrassed like that, it's like I was truly speechless after except for the holy shit part. I was like, oh my God. I cannot believe that. And I still can't believe it. I still cannot believe that John Jones made it look that easy. It was just like it was nothing. Nothing. And he gets the belt. Nothing. I I I still cannot believe that he did that. Um yeah. And I tweeted this after too. It's like, honestly, yeah, no, I wouldn't. If I was Stipe, I don't know if I'd be wanting this matchup. I mean, it's definitely something that it's like, okay, after this one, I'm retiring. I don't know. I mean, you got to do it because it's John Jones. I mean, for legacy alone, even just to lose against John Jones, you got to do it. You got to give it the shot. Because what if you are the guy that ends up beating John Jones? You got to do it. You got to do it. Of course you do. But I would take a serious second look, especially considering Stipe is a firefighter. It's like being an MMA fighter isn't necessarily something that he really even focuses on right now. So, if I were him, maybe I would just stick to doing that. And then I'd be like, I had a good ride in the UFC. I'm probably the greatest heavyweight that's done it. That's it. That's it for me. I'm done. And that would make sense. But he would have had to have done that a couple, after he loses to Francis, that would have been the time to do it. But yeah, it's I see that happen to Gon and it's just like, fuck. Like that's terrifying. And then when he says, what Jones is like after, and you know what? I mean, he said it, I wouldn't even say it was a joke. Jones was just like, he really should take some time off of being a firefighter because I'm coming at you 100%. He is not taking it easy like he used to. That is what happened. And it's pretty clear what happened in the last few fights now, looking back. And I mean, it was kind of obvious, if you knew who he was before, it kind of did look like that's what he was doing. He was just kind of taking it easy. But now, after seeing that, this guy's not taking it easy. I don't know if he might fall into that phase eventually again, after beating Stipe, beating, I don't know, Curtis Blades, Pavlovich, people like that. If he goes on a longer run again, who's to say that he doesn't just let it go again or even just retire from there just because he's like, meh, you know? But if he is taking this as seriously as I think he is, which I'm pretty fucking sure he is, that's a scary, scary guy that nobody is going to beat. Nobody. I mean, wow. Wow. And yeah, I don't think there's a chance in hell that Stipe wins that fight. And I hate to say it because, again, another cool guy, he's fucked. He is actually fucked, especially if he doesn't. I mean, again, I don't even think it was rude to say. I genuinely think Jones is saying to him, listen, I don't think you understand what you're walking into. You think, okay, fine, Gon isn't a good wrestler. Jones just walked right through him because he's a better wrestler. Sure, maybe, but I genuinely think Jones is just saying to Stipe, like, listen, I don't think you understand what's going on here. I'm going to run straight through you and then run through every single other heavyweight the way I always have with the light heavyweights, and nobody's going to do anything about it. That is what I think is going through Jones's mind, and that's what I'm seeing. So I everybody should be terrified by heavyweight John Jones. And I actually didn't think about this originally, but I forget. I think it was somebody on the broadcast actually. It might have been Cormier or Rogan. Heavyweights, statistically speaking, are the oldest fighters. You can fight at heavyweight competitively in any promotion 40, 42, sometimes later as a heavyweight because it's just a lot easier. You don't have to deal with the speed. You don't have to deal with the speed and the cardio of all these lighter, younger guys. It's really just skill. It comes down to size, skill, and power at that point. And age doesn't really affect a whole lot of that. It affects the speed, obviously, but it doesn't affect the skill. Makes you slower reactions a little bit of loss in power. Things dip a little bit, but not even to the same extent. I mean, just look, Glover. Glover was a champ and he was what, 43? John Jones is 35? Oh, 30. What is he? Is it 36, 35? Something like that? I mean, realistically, he could just keep doing this for 4, 5 more years if he feels like it. And at heavyweight, he's got a pretty good chance. He's got a pretty good chance. He really, really does. So, I mean, you're looking at like nobody is ever going to touch that record kind of territory if he keeps going, which is crazy, crazy to think about. Absolutely insane. Anyway, enough gushing about John Jones. And Cyril's face just said it all. I mean, we've all seen the picture of him just going like, but seriously, that face says it all. He was just like, I cannot believe that that just happened to me. And I can't believe it either. Again, it's like he made it look so easy that he didn't look like it looked like Cyril just doesn't even belong in the UFC. That's what it looked like. It was like, what the yeah. And I mean, and again, as an undefeated fighter, which Cyril Gane kind of is. I mean, like I said, lost to Francis Ngannou, kind of controversial split decision. I think it was a split decision, was it not? I can't remember. Anyway, shouldn't have lost the fight though. To go from that to getting finished in 2.5 minutes, what a mind fuck. That fucks with your head. That's like, I cannot believe that just happened to me. Wow. That would be like if Jones gets, you know, like if Jones goes against, well, actually, I agree. I could see this happening with Pavlovich. Like if Pavlovich goes in there, just knocks him out in 30 seconds. That would be astonishing, but yeah. Anyway, I would actually, I think Pavlovich is probably the riskiest guy to go against. I really do. That's a scary one to go against, and I would be watching out for him. Aspinall, Pavlovich. Those are two guys. John Jones is definitely going to be a little bit more cautious with. But anyway, incredible, incredible night. What a night. I mean, this is truly this is a night to remember in MMA that nobody's ever going to forget. It's the night that Valentina lost and John Jones came back in the biggest possible way that he ever could have had. He could not have had a better result. So two just history making performances right there that nobody's ever going to forget. And it's similar to what happened with Nunes losing to Juliana Pena. Nobody's ever going to forget, like, holy shit, remember when Nunes lost that one time to Pena? Or remember, holy fuck, when Valentina lost to Grasso? How crazy was that? That's what people are going to say. And yeah, UFC 285, that's going to be one that everybody's going to remember. And the rest of the card was sensational as well. I mean, UFC 285, that is going to go down as one of the most most memorable cards of all time, for real. There's no doubt. And the debut of Bo fucking Nickel again. And another insane performance by Shavkat. I mean, just what a night. Like truly, wow. Wow. As a fight fan, what a night. Unbelievable. And that's it for that. I mean, we talked about it for an hour and a half. We haven't even started talking about this other card that's this week. My bad. But I mean, like, seriously, I mean, like, really, exactly what I just said. This is hands down. Well, actually, no, not hands down the best card I've ever seen because the Australia card is pretty close. I would say, in terms of excitement of watching it, Australia actually was probably better, but but the actual, because of the audience, it was really the audience that helped it out. But in terms of actual moments, I don't know how much more memorable you could get of a night than that. Just sensational, sensational stuff. The bonuses. KO of the night, Dricus du Plessis. I mean, to get somebody to throw in a towel like that, wow. Alexa Grasso, sub of the night. I mean, how much more shocking of a submission could you possibly have? Definitely submission of the night. Brawl of the night, I was actually a little bit torn. I was torn between Neil Rachmanov and DDP Brunson because that Brunson fight was actually a very entertaining fight to watch, but I did end up going with Neil and Rachmanov. I mean, the shots that both of them took, there were there was a crazy amount of damage from both sides. Both had no quit and ended up actually finishing Neil at the end there. Crazy fight, crazy fight. So I did end up giving that the bonus, but it really was really close. Most valuable fighter. There's two of them, and you know which two of them they are. Alexa Grasso, of course, and the GOAT, the one true GOAT that I don't even know. I honestly don't even know how you could top that unless the only person that's even on that kind of radar right now is Chimaev. He's the only person that I could see that's doing that. That's it. I mean, maybe you could say, I mean, there's actually a few right now. I mean, Jailton is on that way, undefeated, also dominant. Chimaev, undefeated, dominant. Bo Nickel could be heading towards that direction. We don't know yet though, because he's still pretty new, but he's also headed in that direction. I mean, Shavkat, I don't think so. Shavkat's really good, but we kind of saw in this fight, he does actually struggle a little bit, you know? He does. He does a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Not to the, but he's not Chimaev. If Chimaev and Rachmanov fight right now, Chimaev's winning that fight. I'm sorry. He's winning that fight. So, I don't know. But again, it's like, how many title fights is that? Was it 18? Something like that? It's something absolutely fucking crazy. But like the number of title fight wins for John Jones, title fight wins, title defenses in two different weight classes, double champ now. Never really lost. I mean, just get rid of that bullshit loss, the illegal knee. Like, okay, I don't know. It's like that one's just garbage. So it's like, which he was dominating. So it's like, I mean, what he's basically almost at 30-0. So you kind of have to beat. And how do you beat that too? I mean, like, is Chimaev going to fight 15 more times? Maybe, yeah, he probably is, but can he win all 15, all 20 fights, and then all of them are basically going to be title fights? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, that's like that. Though, actually, the best example that I can think of for what he's doing is Mayweather and Wayne Gretzky, where it's like the records are so outrageous that I don't really know how anybody could ever beat that. Like 50-0, or is it 51-0 now or something? I can't remember, for Mayweather. And then Gretzky, of course, you can't even score that much anymore. Like, it's just people are too good now where it just doesn't happen. And that is the territory you're going to get into in MMA later, where everybody's so even and so good that I just don't see that it's likely for somebody to go on that kind of run where they can go 30-0 with 20 title wins. I just I don't know if that's possible. Just like Wayne Gretzky, you cannot get that many points anymore because he was getting, what was the most points he got in a year again? I actually don't remember, but it's outrageous to the point that that's like actually impossible to do now. Like, yeah. So it's like, it's that level of record John Jones just did, where it's like, I don't even know how you could possibly catch up with that. And then, of course, if you add in a win over Stipe, defending the heavyweight title against who's widely considered the heavyweight GOAT, then what? It's like, then he's defended a second belt, which again, a lot less people have done that. So it's like, I just don't know how you can replicate that. It's gonna be the people are gonna be talking about that forever, forever. And that's why one true GOAT, John Jones. And with that, we will take a short break. Fuck. We're so behind. We'll take a short break and then come back in with this card, and we'll make it quick. I mean, I honestly didn't even write great notes on this one, so we'll just blaze through it real quick, I would say. But yeah, we will be right back after this. I was looking for the ad too. Right back right after this.
Allow me to introduce High Stick Vodka, a new way to celebrate victory. Gather around the glass with an award-winning, ultra-premium Canadian-made vodka. You probably won't listen when I say High Stick Vodka has a smooth, hard-hitting taste, or that it's developed in the birthplace of hockey. You won't listen when I say High Stick Vodka is a tribute to the game of hockey, or when I tell you it's distilled 4 times using Canada's purest mountain spring water to provide an authentic, remarkable flavor. But maybe you will listen when I say it comes in a fucking hockey stick. Showcase your passion for hockey with our limited edition hand-blown hockey stick bottle. Whether you're celebrating victory or drinking to defeat, High
And we are back. We will start right away with the main card. And like I said, we're going to take this a little bit, excuse me, a little bit faster than normal. There's no need to, excuse me, I had some water. Now I'm all fucked up. Yeah, we're not going to take this, go super into detail because again, I also didn't really have time this time to really go into depth with my notes anyway. So we'll just go through it based on the picks. And I mean, the picks are going to be, they were going to be the same either way. It's just less to say about them. It opens up with Vitor Petrino making his debut against Anton Turkalj. We already saw Anton fight Jailton. I mean, that was a throwaway fight. Don't even think about that one because it's like Jailton was going to win no matter what. I mean, you know, and Turkalj was thrown in there last second, like literally, like I think a week before the fight, or maybe 2 weeks before, he was thrown in there against Jailton Almeida, who I think is pretty clearly on his way to become the light heavyweight champ. He's just that good, and possibly eventually a heavyweight champ. I mean, he is insanely good. So yeah, that knew he was going to lose that one. So there's no point even talking about that one, even though I just did, and I'm already wasting time again. Petrino making his debut. And really, this comes down to what I saw on the Contender Series for both guys. Petrino fighting somebody pretty big and not too bad. Not too bad. Definitely not one of the greatest. But Petrino looked really good on there. Heavy hands. Knocked him out. I think. Was it a submission or a knockout? Either way, did finish him. And heavy hands. And he is a big guy. On the other side, Turkalj, not really that big, actually. He's kind of small for the weight class, or kind of normal sized, I guess, for the weight class. Maybe just Petrino is just massive. And got hit quite a bit, to be honest. He really did get hit quite a bit in his debut, in his not debut, in the Contender Series, to the point where it's like, yeah, you can't get hit like that against somebody like this. So I actually think Petrino's going to get a pretty scary looking finish, I think, on the feet, because, or if he doesn't, I mean, Turkalj really only grapples. He's kind of one of those guys that's just like, I'm going to take you down and just make you miserable for 15 minutes. That's what this guy does. But honestly, Petrino's so big and Turkalj has to get super close. I don't think he wants to get that close to Petrino. I think he's going to get finished going Petrino. Minus 112 for Petrino. minus 110 for Turkali. So it's a dead even one. I just gave you the inside scoop on this one. Petrino just looks way more dangerous to the point where I think he's going to get a finish. Minus 112, locking it in. Over under 1.5. That is a lot more tough. I would actually be going with, I don't know. I'm going with the under just because I think Petrino can get a finish. Plus 125 for under 1.5. That being said, would not be surprised at all if Turkali really does actually start to wrestle him and drags it on and on and on into the late second, third round, and eventually to a decision. I would not be surprised if that happened. But at minus 160 odds for over 1.5, those are not really juicy odds by any means. So yeah, I'll be taking the under on that one. Plus 125. It's just better value. Second fight, Saeed Nurmagomedov, Jonathan Martinez. And I got to admit, this one I'm actually really not sure about because I did not get a chance to watch the tape on this one. But from what I remember, I do remember Saeed's last fight because this was the Kakramanov fight. And that was where he was actually getting out wrestled by Kakramanov. And Kakramanov just made a mistake. Saeed subbed him in the second round after getting absolutely dominated in the first round. So Saeed got pretty lucky in the last one. This time, Martinez definitely a stand-up fighter, way more of a striker. And this is just going to be one of those classic ones where we see a Nurmagomedov, a Dagestani guy, go in there, wrestling and clinching and all that kind of shit and win a decision. That's what I think is going to happen. But he is actually the Nurmagomedov, the Dagestani guy that does strike a lot more. So we are going to see more striking for sure than a normal Dagestani fight, I guess. But he should be able to win a decision. That's what I'm seeing. Minus 250 for Saeed, plus 200 for Martinez. Going with Nurmagomedov, probably with the parlay too. You gotta do it. And then over under 2.5. They are favoring the over 2.5, minus 172. Under 2.5 is a plus 133. They're both in a lot of decisions. So I'd be leaning towards the minus 172. But I gotta say, I mean, they both got finishes in their last fights. So I wouldn't be totally shocked if the under cashes in plus 133. It is plus money, so it's definitely there. You can definitely do that. I think the safer bet would probably be minus 172, though. It's a close one. That's a close one. All the way around, actually, that's a close one. Then we got Ricardo Ramos, Austin Lingo. This one is not really that close. Ricardo Ramos, very, very good. Very, very good. Very talented. Austin Lingo, he's looked okay. Nothing crazy. So, I mean, I would say a pretty clear choice in Ramos. Minus 367. Throw that in the parlay. Over under 2.5. I think I went with under. I think I went with a finish on this one. Possibly? Did I? No. No, I actually think, did I? Oh, I didn't even, fuck. I actually didn't write that down in my notes. So I actually don't know whether actually, no, hold on. I'll check. Going over to Tapology now to just check one last time where I had Ramos and Lingo. Decision. I think it was because they had a lot of decisions. So I went with that. And guess what? You got plus money. Oh, actually, yeah. You got plus money for the over. If they're in a lot of decisions, they're both pretty tough guys. That's a no-brainer. Plus 100 over 2.5. Go for it. The trend is your friend until the end. If they have a lot of decisions, and you see it's at plus money, do it. Do it. Just do it. So yeah, going Ramos, going the over plus 100. Love it. Next up, we actually already talked about this exact matchup a couple weeks ago. Nikita Krylov, Ryan Spann, not changing my mind at all. And what's shocking to me is Krylov was the one that pulled out, and he is still the favorite, and the odds haven't changed at all. Minus 175 for Krylov. Ryan Spann, plus 142. What are we doing here? What's going on? Krylov. Krylov was the one that canceled. Spann looking there, pissed, upset, and depressed actually too. He was getting pretty emotional at the press conference that he couldn't fight. He is going to go in there and smoke this guy. Plus 142 for Ryan Spann. Good God. Put some money on that. Oh my goodness. Put some money on that. I don't know why he's not the favorite right now. I really don't. I don't get it. I really don't understand. Over under 1.5 rounds, plus 133 for over, minus 172 for under. That's a tough one. That is a tough one. I do think it's going to be under because I think Spann is going to pretty easily get a finish, but plus money, like I said, plus 133 for over 1.5. That is a trend that you might want to take till the end. Plus 133. That's a juicy line. I got to take that. Plus 133. Got to put a little bit of money on it because it's just too good looking. It's just too beautiful, too sexy. And Ryan Spann for sure. I can't believe he's not the favorite. I really can't. Then we got the big boys. The big boys. Alexander Volkov, Alexander Romanov. The two big Alexanders. Not even Alex. They don't even go by Alex. They both go by Alexander. That's crazy. But yeah, Volkov, Romanov. Who's going to get it? I actually do think Volkov's going to get it. I really do. I was not impressed by Romanov at all in the last fight. I mean, he had an easy win in his pocket with, I think it was Budai. Yeah, Martin Budai. And he blew it. He blew it. I thought he still won the decision, if I'm being honest. It was a split decision. The judges went with Budai. It took the win away from Romanov. I don't really agree with that. I kind of thought Romanov won, but it was that close. And guess what? Volkov ain't losing to no Budai. He ain't losing to nobody like that, buddy. And guess what? Before that, Romanov, honestly, I mean, I was really impressed at first with Romanov, but once he started to go and fight the better people, that was somebody who really started to get exposed. And I'm not liking it. Volkov, massive guy, super tall. He's actually, I think he might be currently the tallest heavyweight in the UFC. Not easy to take down, super experienced, doesn't lose to people like this. I think he's going to win this by decision, I would say. And I think that's actually a pretty clear decision to make, especially based on what we just saw, because Budai he did the exact same thing that Volkov is going to do. He is going to just basically out cardio him. Romanov does not really have cardio. We've seen that over and over and over and over again. Seriously, we've seen that in 4 different fights now, at least 3 different fights, where he was really struggling when it came down to the 3rd round, and even in the 2nd round, could not keep up that pace. So Volkov doesn't do that. He's too good for that. He's too big. He's too good, too experienced. I'm going Volkov all day on this. And honestly, a little surprised that he's plus money. Plus 128. Put it on Volkov. I'm doing it. I think you got a good one here. I think you got a real good dog here. And Romanov on the other side, minus 158. I haven't seen enough in the last couple fights from Romanov that tells me he can handle what Volkov's going to bring to him. I don't see it. Over under 1.5. I'm going with the over for sure on this one. Neither one of these guys gets high caliber finishes. Neither one of them, really, neither one of them does. They both go to decisions whenever they go against somebody good. They're both good. So sounds like a decision to me. So yeah, over 1.5 for sure. I would actually even be putting that in some parlays because 1.5 rounds for these two guys. Yeah, I'm definitely going over. Plus 142 for the under 1.5. No. And I gotta say, I'm also surprised about the main event. I'm actually shocked. I am blown away by the odds in in the main event. I don't know what they're seeing. Piotr Jan minus 267. What? Like, are we talking about the same Piotr Jan that lost to? I mean, Suga. Okay, whatever. And Marab is not a Suga type. He's not a striker like that. But he did get convincingly manhandled by Aljo. That happened. Call it boring, a boring win for Aljo, whatever. And I mean, okay, sure. Jan got a little bit of damage going. But yeah, Marab is not that guy. He is exactly like He is exactly like Aljo. Aljo found great success. In fact, I would actually say that I think Aljo is better submission wise and keeping the backpack position. He's a backpack and he likes it. That's okay. It wins fights. I'm fine with it too. I don't care. You get submissions that way too, and that's fine. But guess what? He was taken down quite a bit. That was his problem. And I also think Marab is a better wrestler than Aljo. I think he is. I don't know. If not better, he's exactly the same. They train together. What am I missing here? Marab is a relentless grappler that will never stop. All 5 rounds, he will do that. 5 rounds straight. All grappling, all takedowns. He will not let Piotr Jan engage. Aljo let him engage a little bit. He did. He did actually let him go. And that's actually a regret that Aljo had. He said that himself. He let him go a little bit too much. Marab doesn't do that. He doesn't play with that shit. We saw it against Aldo. Aldo and Marab. We saw it. He dominated him. Did not give him a chance at all. That is exactly what's going to happen here. Will he win all 5 rounds? Probably not. I think Jan's going to get a round in there with the striking. Maybe 2. But with that grappling, I mean, again, he trains with the guy that just beat him 2 fights ago. He trains with him. He was in his corner. He knows what he is going to do all the time. And Marab is the perfect style to beat Jan. I truly do not see what everybody's seeing here. Minus 267 for Jan after everything I just said. It's crazy. I don't even know how you could see that. So plus 10 Marab, are you joking? I am jumping on that betting line all day long. And yeah, the over-under is at 4.5. Yeah, I'm not seeing a finish here at all. Minus 225, over 4.5, locking it in with that. And that's the entire main card. There are 2 prelims that I will briefly go over. Then, of course, we'll do our parlays and then we'll call it a night. I'm starving right now. I know my dinner's already here. I want to eat, so let's get this going. Prelims, there's only 2 that I want to talk about. Tony Gravely, Victor Henry. Super high quality fight here. I'm actually excited for this one, but I gotta say, I think Victor Henry got a little bit exposed last time by Asunciao, who is the other prelim I'm going to talk about. I'm also going to talk about Asunciao, but I think Victor Henry got a little bit exposed in the last one, and Gravely is he's the real fucking deal. He is the real deal. He's gotten a little bit unlucky with the guys that he's fought. and he got caught and finished once, I think, and got just, I mean, a tough fight against his last opponent too. Again, I can't remember who it is because I didn't write my notes this time, but I do remember that watching the fights and thinking, wow, Gravely is the real deal. He just keeps getting thrown in there against the wrong guy. And this is not the wrong guy, I should say. This is the right guy. Henry really struggled with the grappling and the pace of Asun Seao, and Gravely brings an even higher wrestling pace and a higher just striking, just pace in general that I don't know if Henry's going to be able to deal with it. So yeah, I'm seeing decision for Gravely. I like it a lot. I really do. That's a line that I really, really like. And if you go towards the odds, Henry is a slight favorite at minus 143, Gravely plus 114. You got to go with Gravely. Like I said, I really do think we saw a problem for Henry there in the last one, and Gravely is kind of just a bigger, better version of that problem. Because I actually think he's better than Asun Sao. So Henry's actually getting a step up after losing to the guy. So I actually think, yeah, Gravely is an even worse matchup. So I would actually say, yeah, this is much better. Plus 114, bank it. Put that in the bank. Over under 2.5. Yeah, definitely going towards the over. Lots of decisions on both sides. Minus 180, over 2.5. Definitely going with that. And that is it for that one. And then, like I said, was going to talk about Asun Seao. He is going against Davy Grant. And I did flip back and forth on this one, but ultimately I did actually go with Davy Grant. I wasn't sure. I was not sure because, again, Asun Seao just beat Victor Henry. And I would say Davy Grant is pretty similar. So I was like, oh, that's a tough one. But the power is the difference. Henry does not have a lot of power. Grant has the power. He gets a lot of knockouts, and he went to a split decision with Adrian Yanez, who a lot of people think, or at least they used to think, is the future of the bantamweight division. So, if he got a split decision against Yanez and a bunch of different knockouts, and Asun Seao has been knocked out a few times, I'm seeing a finish. I'm seeing a finish for Davy Grant, and that's it. Finish for Grant. Where are we here? Minus 140. Minus 140 for Grant. Locking on that one. Plus 114 for Asun Seao. I mean, listen, it is close. I wouldn't be completely shocked if Asun Seao won, but like I said, it's the power. It's the power. Asun Seao does get hit occasionally and has been finished. Grant never gets finished, so he's not going to be finished. And he finishes people. He has a few finishes actually. So I got to go with that. Plus, of course, there's the age difference of Grant being younger by, I think it's at least 5 years. It's still reasonably close, but still, Asun Seao is over 40. So, yeah. And the over-under, I'm going with the under, like I said, because of the power of Grant. I'm going with the under plus 145 for that. And like I said, the trend, you got to go with the trend. Grant has finishes. Asun Seao has losses by finish. It's under plus 145. It's plus money. Let's go. Let's do that. Plus 145. Go for it. And that's it. That is it for the picks. And I will quickly go through the parlays. And I would say there actually are a pretty good number of parlays here. Bruno Silva in the first fight of the night, minus 200 against Tyson Nam. I think that's one where you could definitely throw it in there. JJ Aldrich against Lipski. I love Lipski. She's also really cool. But I mean, she's been struggling. JJ Aldrich, honestly, really only losing to the best people. She lost to Maverick, and I think she lost to Suarez as well. And I think there was one other loss in there. But other than that, or maybe it was Montana that she lost to, but she really does not. She's very good. She's kind of one of those girls that should be in the top 10, but because of the people that she's faced, has struggled to get to that point. That's really all it is. Oh, actually, no, I think it was Erin Blanchfield. She lost to Blanchfield. So yeah, anyway, JJ Aldrich minus 400, going that way all day. She's also massive. She's huge. And Lipsky is not. So I got to go with Aldrich all day on that one. All day Aldrich, that's what they call her. Don't know what that means. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, Aldrich for sure. Mario Bautista, oh my god, minus 1,000. I mean, he's not losing this one. He ain't losing this. There's no way. He is so good. Canetti, not great. So yeah, minus 1,000. Putting that on Bautista for sure. I mean, there's not a whole lot of value. So if you want to leave that out, that's fine. Like go right ahead and leave them out. That's totally fine. But if you're betting $1,000, it might add 50. I don't know. Not a whole lot of addition, but here you go. Anyway, then you got no, don't like that. Don't like that. Nope. You could maybe go with Saeed minus 250, but Martinez he's good. He's good. So there is a reasonable chance for him to win. Ramos minus 367. Come on, And then other than that, I mean, I actually picked all underdogs after that. I mean, I picked so many underdogs on this card. Span, underdog. Volkov, underdog. Marab, underdog. Who else is an underdog? Breshki, underdog. Actually, I might change my pick on that because I didn't get to fully look at that. Yeah. Gravely, underdog. Wow, I went with a lot of underdogs this time. Scary stuff. But yeah, so there's still a few. Silva minus 200, Aldrich, Bautista minus 1,000 if you feel like it. And then Saeed's 3 or 4. That's pretty much it. But if you wanted me to pick one of the underdogs to put in the parlay, I gotta say, Volkov is the way to go. He really is. I mean, he is good. And Romanov has been struggling. So yeah, pick him. And Gravely's a pretty good underdog too. But anyway, that is it for me. Lots of underdogs, which means lots of potential money to be made here, folks. Lots of money. Yeah, that's it for me. But after that, oh my God, after this card, then we've got another pay-per-view next week. Amazing pay-per-view. Of course, you got Leon and Usman. Gaethje Fiziev, though, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I know, because I know what that's going to be like. That is fireworks from start to finish. That is absolutely sensational stuff. But anyway, that is next week. This week, we've got this card. Lots of underdogs, lots of plays to make. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Area 51 has got all the other sports for you. I got all the MMA stuff. And all my socials are below. Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Trying to think. And that's it. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.